We're also putting it back in. This time, it's here to stay.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Town of Pownell Selectboard Meeting, July 10th, 2025 to 6:02 PM. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Board member roll call.
Carl Strohmeyer.
Steve Alexander.
Mike Gardner.
Amy Percy.
Brian Harris.
Give me your name. Everyone rise for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approval of agenda. Public comment, minutes, warrants, weight permits, town updates from town officials, the resolution, health officer, attorney policy, CAT TV, deputy fire warden, transfer station, public comment, and adjourn. I don't think the updates from town officials is gonna take a whole bunch of time. We don't have a bunch of those, so I was thinking about moving the resolution in front of that, but
That's fine.
I think it'll be a matter of a couple of minutes, so. I have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Public comment. Do I have any public comment?
Jenny.
Jeannie. Sorry, I gotta pick my head up, Jenny. I'm sorry. Sorry, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny Dewar Powell. I just, when I was going on to check about this meeting tonight, I noticed on the website a couple of things. One is that the very first thing that comes up on the homepage is still about the public hearings for what to do with the old town hall and all of the specs about that. And that's really old. And I feel like that's a kind of funky thing to come up with first, since it was so controversial. And then the other thing I noticed is that the select board meetings are not on the calendar part of the homepage. The meeting itself is under the calendar, but like they've had a couple of meetings on Tuesdays and nothing else on the calendar. So
It's on our website.
that's on the website, homepage of the website.
All right. So check that out.
Thank you.
Bear with me, I'm just making sure. All right. Any other public comment?
Nothing in line.
Any hands up?
Not like, sorry.
Okay, approval of minutes. June 24th, 2025, special select board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes of June 26th, 2025, select board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Corrections, additions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Warrants. Accounts payable July 4th, $52,230.41.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Accounts payable July 11th, $78,556.33.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Payroll July 4th, $14,518.33.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Payroll July 11th, 2025, $11,606.52.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, corrections, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Excess weight permits. I have two here. One from Beacon Sales Acquisition. It is a fleet permit. Joel signed it. And I have one from Consolidated Communication. Fleet permit, and Joel has signed that.
Make a motion to approve for our form application. Both permits.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
updates from town officials. Real quick, I'm sure everyone saw the update, about the church and the lawsuit. We will enter that. I don't want to read the whole thing. It's like 5 pages long, 6 pages long. That'll be entered into the minutes, for tonight's meeting. Anybody that wants a copy, I'm sure we can get a copy to, anybody that wants one. But they will be entered into the minutes. In a nutshell, the court basically dismissed the church's claim to the church building itself, as being owned by the church, being owned by the town.
Section of the carriage house.
Yeah, a section of the carriage house is still in question, so I don't know where it goes from there. I think the select board needs to, I think we need to sit down. We obviously have not sat down and talked about this court decision whatsoever. I think we need to sit down in an executive session and discuss this decision and see where we want to go from here and what.
Consult with our attorney and
Consult with
see
the
what we do
attorney.
next.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. I think it's kind of new. We obviously haven't talked about it. I think we
Yeah.
need to sit down and talk about it. And I think we probably even need to dedicate one night specifically to that with our attorney. And that's just my feeling. So, I'm not sure that everybody.
Did you want to try to schedule something now, or do you want to just wait and see what Mr. Fisher has for availability?
I think we'll see what. I think we should, we can talk about that right now, actually, because that's should be in our new attorney policy tonight, right? If we approve that as written. I think we need to have approval that, myself reach out to Bob Fisher or Tara can reach out to him for us and see what his availability is to set up a meeting to talk about this specifically and where we go from here. I have ideas that I'd like to do from here, but that's totally my own thing. I think we need to discuss that as a board.
Definitely need his
So
counsel.
can I have an approval to have Tara reach out to Bob to schedule a meeting for that when he's available?
Make a motion, we authorize Tara to reach out to town attorney for scheduling a meeting.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Say one thing about this really quick.
Sure, of course,
Oh.
sorry.
No. I think it is important as well that the court documents are being entered into the minutes. And I would encourage people who have questions, those are public documents, to please read those documents. And I'm sure I'm not the only person on the select board that gets a lot of questions about the church. And I would just say, it sounds like there's a lot of speculation all over the place. Please read the documents.
Okay.
Oh, then,
I would, I'm curious if it's really an executive session. I mean, I know that legal is an executive session, but it's not a legal decision that you're discussing. It's a conversation about the church, and I think that's probably something that should be happen in the open.
I think there's a couple of legal decisions.
Uh-huh.
And I agree with you.
But I would just caution you to make sure that you're only talking about those legal decisions in your executive session, and your conversation with your ideas and so on happens.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I think there's a couple of legal decisions that need to be made.
Mhm.
And I think that executive should be fairly quick. But I also believe that you're 100% correct. The ideas that I have moving forward are not an executive session item. They are definitely an open session item for sure that this board needs to discuss. If, I'll bring them up, and if they don't want to discuss them, they don't want to discuss them. That's the way it is. And that's fine with me. But I agree 100%. I think there's a couple of legal decisions that we need to make. And I think once these documents have been read, people will agree with that.
And Mike, I want to caution. The document didn't say they have 30 days to refile.
That's true. That's true. So, but I think
They have 30 days to
refile.
So this isn't
It's not.
stamped and done.
No, that's right. That's right.
But again, to your point, that's the whole reason people should be reading the meetings.
Exactly. Right, that, yes,
Yeah,
but it's not a done deal.
That's right. No, that's right. There's processes and whatever, and I think that's, to Jeannie's point, that's why it's incredibly important to read this document.
Correct.
Racetrack. State of Vermont versus Green Mountain Racetrack LLC. I had talked to GJ Garrow about this 2 months ago, knew this was coming down the board. But he had to wait for it to become, a public document. Basically, the state of Vermont. I'm gonna say that I know that the residents of the town of Pownell have been incredibly patient about what's going on down there. And I know people have pushed really hard to make things happen down there. This has been, I think, three years.
I think longer than that.
It's been like 3 years in the making right here, this one particular judgment, okay? It was in the state's hands. I know that people felt we weren't doing anything about it. When our hands were kind of tied, there was not a lot we could do. It was in the state's hands. Here's the state's findings. You know, basically there's a fine. They have to fence it. But now I'm gonna caution people, and I really want you to pay attention to what I'm saying right now out there in the general public. When I talk to GJ, he's the head of fire and safety for this particular thing right here. It's now becomes a process. Now the state has to follow guidelines. They have to bid out the fencing. They have to bid out the structural engineer. They have to bid every single thing that's in this document. They have to bid it out. The state is required to bid that out. So is the fence gonna start going up tomorrow? Nope. Are the structural engineers gonna come in tomorrow? Nope. It's a process they have to follow. Is the process going to happen? Yes, it is. Once again, this document here, it's a court decision. Judgment order will be placed into our minutes. Please read it. Please, because it's not just a cut and dry thing. There's, any of the contractors that have ever worked with the state will tell you exactly how this works. It's a process. And GJ told us the same thing, told me the exact same thing. It's gonna take a while.
Been 5 years,
Is that how long? Yeah.
come September.
Well, I don't think this started right off the bat.
I mean, since the actual fire,
Right.
and we started.
But this has definitely been like 3 years into making this order. This judgment order will be in the minutes as well. And that's kind of it from town officials. Sorry, Danny, it's taking longer than I anticipated, but, which brings us to the resolution affirming the constitutional rights of all people of Pownell. This is the constitution, or resolution, sorry, as it was rewritten. I'm not reading the constitution, that's right.
yeah, that's all.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, no, I'm sorry, please don't read that.
Whereas the town of Pownell Select Board, having considered the matter, hereby resolves that the town of Pownell affirms its commitment to support the protections afforded to all people by the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the state of Vermont. Any board discussion?
I think we hammered this out a lot our last meeting. I think there was a very vigorous discussion and even I would say debate between members of this community and even members of the board. And I think he worked very hard at the end of that discussion to get to a point to boil this down to a sentence that I think most people here felt very comfortable. I don't know who doesn't feel comfortable with saying that we're committed to support the protections afforded to all people by the United States Constitution, the Constitution of the state of Vermont, period, without enumerating anything else.
Mhm.
So that's what we asked to have returned to us. We asked for those revisions. Those revisions were made, and that's what's in front of us. I'm sure that we need to rehash the whole conversation again.
We had an email. You want to read that email? You want me to read it? Okay.
Sure.
We had an email from a resident, so we're gonna read that email. It does relate to this. to the resolution.
To the Town Select Board. And this is from Donald Lazon. I have a couple of comments regarding the lengthy discussion for the proposed resolution brought forth at last night's meeting. I do hope you take the time to read it. I unfortunately will be out of town for your next meeting, or I would have said this in person. The Pownell Select Board has often been put in positions where they have to, quote, pick a perceived, quote, side, even on issues that are far less controversial. Over the years, Select Board deliberations, decisions, and actions, whether it be about ATVs, the debate over elected versus appointed town clerks and assessors, how to treat public comments, FOIAs, etc., have resulted in 5 people either earning the trust and vote of citizens or not. These issues, though difficult, were in fact municipal matters. Last night's proposed resolution is not subject to select board approval or disapproval when one looks at the statutory requirements of a select board. It is a symbolic gesture that's being asked of select boards by select individuals and possibly special interest partisan organizations all over Vermont. At one point during the meeting, the comment was made that to adopt it would satisfy this group. What group exactly? It would seem that a group should identify themselves as such, especially if they have some formal organization such as the Democratic Caucus or similar. If the select board members wish to engage in resolutions for all groups. If so, I can envision future select board meetings with hour-long resolutions of all kinds, possibly competing resolutions that simply have no legal standing, are non-binding, and enacted completely out of the scope of the board's legislative duties. When it was proposed that the wording simply say all, that word became a point of issue, which leads me to believe that the resolution is inherently regarding a specific group of people. Does that mean in 3 months you might have to do another resolution for another group? For the record, the word all is in our Pledge of Allegiance, our Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. Furthermore, Chapter 1 and Article 7 of the Vermont Constitution ensures that, quote, government be operated for the benefit of all the people and not for the advantage of a single person, family, or group, end quote. How much clearer could the word all be? The select board as a whole represents the interests and needs of the entire municipality. Aside from federal funding, grants, and requirements, the select board should carefully consider what it is they hope to accomplish by spending over an hour discussing national politics of which they have no authority over. Much like discussing Facebook. I would also caution you to be careful that you don't create a situation where the town could potentially suffer repercussions for federal grants and other fiscal opportunities by drawing a public partisan line in the sand, so to speak. As the town lawyer and the LCT has said many times, even the appearance of a conflict of interest can be problematic. If one or multiple members on the board have a personal interest in activism involving national politics or federal entities, the best and most efficacious place for those activities is outside of their municipal work. Pownell has a very politically diverse and passionate citizenry. We all have our personal beliefs and values. We exercise our rights to vote nationally and locally, but we do so privately. I do not wish to see our local boards used in this way. Something I have noticed in this town is that if someone doesn't shout yes without question on an issue, then the assumption is that the person must be against it. This is where our complicated history of villainizing our neighbors, has happened more often than not. For example, a woman last night opposing the cell tower is likely not against emergency services, having phone service just how it affects her. A person opposing a budget request may not be against the group asking for it. It simply means they have a different viewpoint or wish to see their tax dollars spent elsewhere. Not signing or supporting a resolution that has no more power than the paper it's written on does not mean that you don't support the Constitution or the rights of those within our borders to due process and humane treatment. Please don't fall for false. If you don't do this resolution, it means insert whatever label you wish. I suspect that every single one of you believes in upholding the Constitution, but may have different beliefs on what that looks like. You may have people, like they do in northern Vermont, who have family that work for the U.S. Border Patrol. You may have families that are worried about their legal status. The examples are endless, and everyone is entitled to their personal feelings. However, you are not in the business of legislating such things, and you don't have to immerse yourselves in matters that are, quite frankly, beyond the scope of your roles. But if you choose to do so, you are willingly opening a door that cannot be easily closed. If residents or groups want to hear board members' opinions on national politics, they should reach out to them privately and ask for a conversation. Putting board members into positions where they are pressured to engage in and unanimously approve or disapprove of national politics and actions taken by an administration they hold no sway or influence over is not what is outlined in the roles and responsibilities of a select board. Beyond that, it could cause unnecessary and unwanted division amongst the board who would otherwise work amicably on local matters. I would consider the board taking the approach of American Legion. They are completely nonpartisan, and that is exactly the only way they can rightly say they represent all veterans. The most important thing the board can do in a time of national division and discord is to be strong enough to unite and refrain from any resolutions outside of your roles that would then be considered the consensus of everyone in town. Unity is not conformity. 1 hour and 38 minutes of a 2 hour, 20-minute meeting was spent on this issue. For municipal government to adopt a resolution on a federal matter that holds zero effectual weight is at best performance, and at worst, the very thing that risks dividing not just our elected officials, but the citizenry of Pownell as a whole. There is a saying, take care of home before impressing the streets. I'm certain you have matters right here that you can and do have an obligation to address. Pownell is our home, not Washington, D.C. or LA. That hour and 38 minutes would have been better spent on strategizing, finding a new health officer, troubleshooting more ways to handle the new compactor, outlining and defining town policies, bringing gainful employment to town, etc. Small communities and their governments work best when they leave the national politics out of their municipal work. Donald's.
Thanks. Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are welcome. Head road.
So one comment one thing that I want to say is that I've been the chairperson on the board now all but 1 year that I've sat here. And I have never, ever asked a person or a group of people what kind of group they stand for when they come in to speak to the select board. And I never will. I don't care. You're residents of the town of Pownell, period. And that's the group that you should belong to when you come to this board. When you make a public comment on Zoom, when you send us an email, when you do anything, the group you should belong to is the town of Pownell, period. And I will walk out this door if I'm sitting on a board and a board member asks what group you stand for. I will leave at that point, period. Because the people who voted for me to sit here, that they know that that's the kind of person that I am. I don't care. If you have a valid point, you have a valid point, period. And that's what I have to say on that. As far as the time, I think that the public comment portion of that resolution, that discussion, I think it was incredibly respectful. I think that's something that I've seen lack in this town years ago. And I think it was, I don't think it's the recent past, but I think some people who have been here and lived here for a while will say the same exact thing. There were times when there was no respect for people's comments and their opinions. And I think it was, if that's the only thing that we got out of 1 hour and 38 minutes, so be it. So be it. That's what this is about.
We got to hear from everybody.
Exactly. I think every single person who wanted to talk that night got their chance to speak.
Yep.
We did not cut anybody off. We didn't cut anybody short. I didn't hold anybody to 3 minutes. If it took you 5 minutes to say what you needed to say, if we came back around to you for a second time, that's what happened. And that's the way it should be on certain things. And I'm proud of that fact that that's the way this board handled it.
And that's why the language we ended up with because of that discussion.
Well, and to Thomas' point, I will say that is, and absolutely, Jamie, like, that's why we ended up with a simple sentence that uses the word all. I agree, we do not live in DC or LA, but we do live in the United States. And it says all. And so I'm grateful for people being willing to work that hard last meeting. So.
Anything else from the board?
Nope.
It's a board pleasure.
Go ahead.
No, you.
I'll make a motion that we accept the resolution as printed.
I will second that motion.
Any discussion from the board? I will open it up for a brief period for public comment if there is any, but it's going to be very brief. We're not going to rehash anything. If there's something new, then that's fine. Other than that, it's going to be, and I will shut you down if it becomes an argument. It's just going to happen. Anybody in the room have anything? And I'm going to go to you guys first because you're here. Can you just state your name, please?
Fred Miller. I sent you guys a letter. You guys had a chance to read it. I was expressing some concerns about the staffing and employees of the town. The resolution as it was just read tonight, is much better than what I was hearing. Before I wrote the letter.
Mhm.
I would say, if you haven't read the letter, then just read it and understand what my concerns were and suggestions were. If you pass the resolution as it is right now, it may be a moot point. If not, then, you consider some of my concerns.
I'm gonna respond to that, Fed. Normally I don't respond to that, but I will. I did read your letter and I think on the initial resolution or some of the things that we talked about before we came to this one here, I think you had a really valid point. I think your letter was a valid point about that. I think with this, my opinion, I think with this resolution right here, it's kind of a moot point. All this says is we support the documents that are already in place, period. And so I think your letter, and I do think your letter before this, before you were able to read this, like you said, did have a valid point. Anything else? Public comment?
Just one.
Oh, go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
At the last meeting, Bill Lounsbury, Powell, Vermont, resident, voter, all that. At the last meeting, I requested that this be put before the town voters. Since this resolution has been modified and shrunk down, a lot cleaner, it's a lot neater, I would like to withdraw that request from the board at this time.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Jenny,
I actually could say
you
this.
state your name.
Sorry, Jenny, still Jenny, from Jenny Dewar from Powell. While I can say this by heart, I'm gonna read it, and I just want to remind everyone, the preamble of the Constitution of the United States. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, if anyone remembers the song, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to allow ourselves and our posterity do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. We are all members of the United States of America, and I, for one, support the Constitution, so I appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Anything on Zoom here? No
hands are up.
hands are up. Any more comments? I have a motion and I have a second. Any more discussion by the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution passes. All those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, everybody that worked on this.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Amelia Silver, Powell. I just wanted to say that after the meeting that we had here the last time, I came away so encouraged and proud of everybody here. Mike, as you said, there's been a lot of history, a lot of conflict, and a lot of failure to listen in our town because we're a motley crew.
True.
But the respect that everyone showed was really heartening and just made me feel once again how lucky I am that I live here, and I really appreciate the thoughtfulness of the members of the select board and the time that was taken to address something. And I understand Donna's letter, that was a long time, and it's a cliche, but I'll say it anyway. Democracy is messy and boring and takes a lot of time, and you often have long meetings. I mean, when you think about the Constitutional Congress, they were arguing for 12 hours on their feet about sometimes one phrase. So I think it was actually pretty economic use of our time, and really thank you all so much. Thanks for doing what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to second that.
Thanks. Okay, thank you all for.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Health officer, continue discussion and possible action. I know this was brought up last meeting and we brought it again here.
And we did vote already.
Yeah,
So I feel like, I guess I'm a little bit unclear as to what the continued discussion of possible action is.
well, didn't somebody like submit a letter of interest after we appointed Mike? I thought that's what it was.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I didn't see a letter. I remember somebody brought it up.
Julie called in and said there was some,
Interest.
well, I don't even know what there was. We checked the health officer phone. Cause there is a phone number issued to the town health officer.
Yeah,
Tara checked that. I don't have that phone. I just use my own. And, there were no messages on that, you know, for a health officer complaint. So I don't know where the complaints came from. There's no emails. There's no record of a complaint coming in from anybody. So I don't know where that came from. And unfortunately, you're not here tonight, so I don't know. But any complaint that comes into Hannah, Tara, or Julie, they give them my cell phone number, or Hannah and Tara sometimes will just reach out to me directly and let me know what's going on, whether it's health officer, zoning, or select board. And then I will return the calls, and that's what I've been doing with health officer. Is if someone has a question or a concern, I go look at it, I talk to them about it, I give them guidelines, I do whatever, and I think the biggest reason that we said, okay, enough is enough is because the health officer has been such a huge revolving position. It's hard to get somebody to stay in there as the health officer. There's times when the health officer doesn't do a single thing. And then there's times when we have a former health officer in the room, Fred will tell you, there's times when, man, it just seems like it never ends. And, I think the accessibility is one thing. I think, consistency is another, and it's not that I want the health officer position really, it's not that I don't want it. That's for sure. But I just think we need somebody that's going to be there for a while. And I don't plan on leaving it, unless we find somebody else. And if somebody else really wants to commit to it, that's fine. But I think it is a commitment.
That is an appointed position, right?
Yes, it is appointed position.
I was gonna say.
well, we nominate somebody, then the
Right,
State appoints them.
right, but I'm saying that is part of our appointment nomination process. And I
Yeah.
just feel like we've gone through that process.
repeatedly.
Is
Yes.
Julia?
Yes. Okay,
Sir, Bill.
Just a question, Bill Lounsbury again. Is there formal training required for this position?
No. There's a manual. There's a manual that you follow for, there's so much of it in there that really doesn't pertain to like anything else. It doesn't pertain to here. But, there is a very, detailed manual for things, processes and how things work. And, I refer to the manual and I'm not gonna lie. Somebody calls with a complaint, I look it up because I don't know the right answers most of the time. I'm sure Fred did the same thing. You look up what your duties are, what you can and can't do in a certain.
Question to your position, I just.
Yeah, no, I understand.
It's the big picture, if there's a manual or, training you have to take.
It's a big book and they say, good luck. That's about it.
Fred,
I think what we found when I was doing it is that it works best when zoning is involved. It helps us out because most of the issues you're gonna run into best resolved by either a combination with the health officer.
There's a lot of overlaps.
which is one
There's
stop
something
shopping.
more that you can't do as a health officer.
no, and I think you're right, Fred. I think that was in the discussion that we had.
That was in the discussion that we were having.
About.
That's why it kind of makes sense
Only
to combine
combine
it.
health officers and one, and we did have a discussion about, should they be separate? Should they be the same type of thing, So we did have that discussion. So I don't think there's any action that we need to take if the board's comfortable with where we're at.
I am. Did she say that Julie was on?
Yeah, I thought Julie was supposed to pipe in on it.
I mean, if she wants to.
Yeah, because she left, she was like, oh, I gotta get home because of, hey, Julie, you there?
Probably just letting her talk in the background. She's doing something.
I'm trying to unmute the computer.
Hate that.
No need to yell.
I didn't mean to yell.
No, it's just the way it's playing over the speaker.
Yeah.
You guys are echoing, and I apologize. However, I have been listening to your discussion about the position. I do get complaints, and then I tell people that they need to call Mike, but I also make notes in books. I have to work with the health officer for animal when I get an animal bite. I have emailed with no responses from health officer, but that's a different. So I'm not discussing that right now. However, Mike, yes, you were appointed at the June 12th meeting to have, to be appointed by Jeannie, and it was voted. However, Tara did ask if it should be advertised for the open position. There's no discussion about having it open. Mike, you offered to stay on as health officer. However, my issue is that we all have to follow policy and procedures. You guys didn't follow the policy and procedures according to the VLCT handbook for Vermont town officers. See, and I don't know the page number, but it says C, filling vacancies. When there is a vacancy in an office, the select board has the authority to fill the vacancy forthwith on a temporary basis until an annual or special meeting can be held, at which time the vacancy is filled. Next paragraph. When an office becomes vacant, the select board is required to post a notice of the vacancy in 2 public places in the town and in or near the town clerk's office within 10 days of the vacancy. And there's a state statute, 24 VSA, section 961. Note that the select board may fill the vacancy prior to posting of a vacancy, but it is to notices and to inform the public that the vacancy exists so they have the opportunity to petition for a special election to fill the thing. So my thing is, so being that it's a 3-year position, and I apologize for that noise because I don't know what it is, but so the health officer position will expire in June 2027.
I muted this one. I didn't know if that was picking it up.
Creating a reverb.
Was that working?
I didn't notice a difference.
I didn't know what to do.
Because that'll cut off anything that you guys say as well.
Okay.
But I have again, Julie, are you good to have conversation now or take a question?
No, yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, cool. Right, my thought about that though, and the reason I wasn't sure that pertained to a health officer is because it's not an elected position. So I'm not sure, right, let's say that one of us were to leave the select board or have to step down or something, I could see there being an argument, right, for the case of, oh, we need to hold a special election to fill that position. But in the instance where we, as a select board, make a nomination to appoint someone and the state approves that, I'm just not sure, for example, how we would even have a special election for a health officer.
Well, I wouldn't actually spend the money at doing a special election because of the cost of an election. However, I would like it to see at least advertised to see if the people are interested. because I've actually had 2 people ask about that position.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one thing to post the fact that it's open, but I don't think it is correct to have an election for the health officer. I would be concerned about that. And that would be a question, I think, for
I
legal.
will email you on Monday when I come back in the office that it
Okay.
is in writing and it is in a handbook
Okay.
because I've done my homework.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that.
There wouldn't be an election for a health officer because there's no election for the health officer
Right,
to
it's an
begin with.
appointed.
It's an appointed position
No.
by the select
It's
board.
appointed, it's
Right.
appointed a
So-
position. However, it can have a petition of 250 signatures to require a petition for an election.
So Julie, the couple people that came forth with interest, did you ask them to at least email the select board or any individual on a select board so we could pass it along?
Or Tara?
I was waiting for the discussion first because I wanted to make sure, because I know that the select board chair fills in for the position. But I just want to make sure policy and procedure is done.
Okay, I mean, because we did have a conversation and like Mike said, because of the turnaround that we've had recently, over the recent years,
It
that's
gets,
why we've held, we voted Mike into that position.
I'll be honest with you, Julie, since I've been sitting here, it gets a little aggravating. Because it is a tougher position. That we make a suggestion, the select board makes a suggestion to the state, and then it becomes a state appointed person. And then it's a real difficult situation to get them out of that position once they're there. So now we operate 8 or 9 months without a health officer doing anything. Say nothing about doing what they should. And honestly, when you sit here as a select board member and you have residents in the town that are screaming at us because there's health violations and we can't get a hold of a health officer because they don't respond, from my standpoint, that gets a little old. It becomes a little difficult. And at least the way I look at it, at least if somebody's screaming that we're not doing our job, well, that's me. And you can scream at me and I'll listen. And that's how I look at it right now at this point. If somebody, I've always been that person. If somebody wants the position and they think that, they come in here and they talk to you about the position, Tara's 2 doors down the hall. Hannah's 1 door down the hall. Stop in and say, hey, look, I'm interested in the health officer position.
I pulled up the Vermont Department of Health, and I will look at the statute as well. Julie, I appreciate that. But it's their THO manual for the town health officer appointment. And their step-by-step guide to town health officer appointments says, number 1, the town clerk is notified that the current THO's term is about to end through a letter from the Department of Health. Number 2, the town clerk advises the select board or city council to recommend a new THO for appointment by the Commissioner of Health. Number 3, the select board must complete the town health officer recommendation form and the town health officer oath affirmation form. Number 4, once completed, the town clerk should email both forms to, and it gives you the email address. And then after receiving the forms, the health commissioner appoints the THO and sends out a certificate of appointment. So I will double check the statute, but just by the step-by-step guide, that doesn't look like it's requiring it to be posted for the health officer specifically.
Okay, so then I'm gonna leave it alone, and then I expect Michael to come in to my office on Monday for the Baker
Can you say that again so we don't have all the whatever? Because there's so much feedback.
So it should take the oath.
I just didn't catch it all, Julie.
So I would like you to come into my office on Monday when you can, between 8:30 and 4:30 to do the paperwork and stuff. So I can sit down with what I have to work with you on.
I'll be here at 8:30 Monday morning.
20 and 9-ish.
Okay, I'll be here at 8:30.
Okay.
Perfect.
Julie, thank you for.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jolie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else on the health officer? Attorney policy review, discussion and possible action.
So I took the request at the end of our discussion at our last meeting to adjust the
Good night,
final.
Bye, Fred.
Hey,
Take
thank you
care.
for being here. Pause here, and it says, prior to contacting the town's attorney, staff, board members, and elected officials must first seek permission from the select board chair and select board vice chair. If either the select board chair or vice chair is unavailable, then permission may be obtained from the available select board chair or vice chair and one other board member. Just what was requested. I made the modification.
Okay.
So
That's
it's
perfect.
chair and vice chair. Either of you are missing, then the one who is available and another member of the select board.
That would be for in case of like an emergency, other than like we were here and we made a decision.
Exactly. That's it. And it
Okay.
requires you vote.
I think that's perfect.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion to approve that policy.
Make a
I'll make a
motion.
motion. Oh, I'll second. He approved. He motioned.
Yeah, you guys figure out. Hannah can figure out.
Any more discussion from the board? All in favor? Cat TV contract. Oh, I dig that. Everybody read that. That the rates aren't gonna take effect until the next fiscal year of June 26th. So we're staying with the same exact rates for fiscal year 25-26. What's your pleasure on that contract?
Make a motion to accept it as read.
I'll second that.
Or it's written, I should
Is
say.
written, right?
Sorry.
Yep. Accepted as written by Cat TV. I have a motion and a second. Any more questions on those concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Looks like just the chair signs this. I gotta make sure I keep this in the right file. Okay. Deputy Fire Warden resignation and recommendation. Please accept this email as I do not plan to reinstate my deputy fire warden position. I spoke with Kelsey from Vermont Fire Warden Program. She stated that I needed to reach out to the town and let them know. I recommend Jeff Miller take this position over. If this is something the town agrees to do, the select board would have to agree, and then Kelsey would interview Jeff and make the final decision. Respectfully, Justin Olansky. And I believe that should be Jeff Miller Jr.
Yes. I will make a motion to accept the recommendation of Jeff Miller Jr. as assistant or deputy.
I think we have to accept the resignation.
Resignation.
Resignation, sure.
Sorry.
No,
Make a motion to accept Justin Olansky's resignation as deputy fire warden.
Second.
any discussion? Regretfully, we accept. All those in favor?
Aye.
With regret, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin, for your years of service. Okay,
Okay, now I'm up.
now it's you, Carl.
I will make a motion that we take Justin's recommendation and appoint Jeff Miller Jr. as deputy fire warden. Yeah, that's it, I guess.
Yeah. Second that.
Hang on, well, we accept his,
We accept Justin's resignation.
right, well, we accept Jeff's recommendation to the state, is that what you said?
Correct.
Okay, all right, sorry. Any more
Because
discussion?
it's still up to the state
Right,
to appoint him or not.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're clear. Any more discussion? I have a second. I have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Transfer station operator job description and posting discussion. Town of Pownell is seeking a qualified individual for a transfer station operator. It's a part-time job position, 20 hours a week with a pay rate of $17 an hour. Please visit our website for the full job description.
And I assume that'll be posted Monday?
Well, we need to vote.
We need to vote for it, yes. If we approve it, it'll be posted, I assume, Monday.
Did everybody read the
Yes.
Yes.
operator position? Okay, the job description for that. Okay. Do I have a motion to do that, hire that?
We'll move to forward with the hiring of the transfer station operator job. Yeah, position.
Second that, post it.
And applications will be accepted through July 25th. I have a motion and I have a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
It's the day after our next meeting. Okay. I'm just wondering if we should change that date.
To the 23rd.
Tara did have a plan. I think, I'm pretty sure that's what she said she wanted to do was to
23rd.
have it open until.
Until the 25th?
No, 23rd.
That's a Friday. Our next meeting's the 24th.
Yeah.
We'll leave it like that. That's
Yeah.
fine. So,
I know.
all right, that's fine. We'll leave it like that.
Just leave it open-ended so that you can leave it up to Tara to.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, I think we could just leave it. If we need to change it, we can. That's fine. Which brings me to the transfer station. There's no way that Tom can run the transfer station on Saturdays with the compactors by himself. So until we can hire a helper, operator, whatever you want to call him. Joel's gonna have one of the road guys, our part-time road guy, go in on Saturdays. So he'll work 4 days, Monday through Friday. Excuse me. And then at the transfer station on Saturdays.
Okay.
All right. There's just no way that,
And there's no way he can do both.
there's no way Tom can run.
Not on Saturday.
Not on Saturday. That's hence the position for this, or the reason for this position.
Yeah.
So we have that Saturday thing figured out.
Is it gonna be the same person every Saturday or is it a rotating person?
I think it's the same person every Saturday. It's our part-time
Okay.
employee that's doing the mowing. That's my understanding.
And he's already familiar with the money part of the job because that's what he has to, he'll have to sit in the booth while Tom goes and runs the packer.
And the other thing is he's familiar with packing the other dumpsters with the backhoe and so on and so
Equipment
forth.
operator, yeah.
He's an equipment operator as it is, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, public comment.
Did you guys approve the job description for transfer station?
No, we did not.
Thank you. It's right there in front of me. Did everyone read that job description for the, everybody comfortable with that?
Yep.
Okay,
Make a motion to accept the job description for the transfer station operator.
Second that motion.
any more discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you, Han.
Thanks, Hannah. Build me out. Okay. Now, public comment.
Do you have any public comment, Bill, before I go to online?
Oh, I'm just happy to be in this up here.
All right, Jim.
Thank you very much. Hello, people. Hey, I just wanted
Can
to.
you say your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Jim Kosas, North Mason Hill Road. I was just wondering if you could just similar to the resolution or something just to kind of remind the townspeople, the parents of the townspeople that might have purchased or allowed their family to purchase dirt bikes, that there are certain roads in town that are designated for ATVs, dirt bikes, all-terrain vehicles and stuff. But unfortunately, on the Nile School Road area, Hidden Valley Road, maybe a little part of Ladbrook Road, Mason Hill Road North, we're kind of getting inundated with dirt bikes, the kids that are just showing their muscle and throttle to go up the roads at a high speed without the proper mufflers. I have to be totally honest, the ATV, ultra ATVs, the adults have been very respectful for the neighbors for the past year, 2 years. And I really want to just say I really appreciate them when they go down the road at midnight or around then, that they are going slow and not disturbing us. But the dirt bikes, now that school is out, is really causing a little situation here of the peace and quietness of the area. And they're just non-respect for the citizens of the road that we live on, even though they don't live on this road. So I was just hoping that you guys would just mention it to the parents out there that they need to talk to their kids and why they're riding up our road so fast versus just getting into the woods or trying to take the roads that are or not ATVs, but certain trails. But I appreciate it. I know we have a limitation on our constables and everything, but I haven't called them because I don't want anyone to think that I'm looking for a privilege up here, but I thank you very much and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more public comment here?
We have a
I think Jim's comment will be heard by people in general, parents in general. So I think that's been taken care of. I do think that respect goes a long way, all the way through. And if parents teach it at the age that these riders are at, then they'll be respectful when they come to a select board meeting like we had 2 weeks ago and so on and so forth. I think that goes a long way.
Also,
No other public comment? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, everyone.
Chair.